Hey, kings and queens. So go ahead and share with me, what is the thing that you are committing to? What is the thing that we are doing together? One thing I am realizing during this part of my journey, week 2, this has been a long week, y'all. Can I just start with that? Lord, it feels like it's been forever since I posted my last video. Oh my goodness. But realizing that it is so difficult to continue with something that you have started, right? Like, yes, starting is a big, important part, and you got to get the courage to do it. But what about that follow through, though? Does anyone else have issues with the follow through? I know for me, that's always been an issue. And I'm realizing the importance of deciding to do something. There have been a couple of scholars who break down the definition of deciding, and a couple of times that I've heard the difference between choosing and deciding. And deciding, in I believe it's the Hebrew or the Greek, one of them, literally means to cut off any other option. Like, you're all in. When you decide, you are all in. There is no other choice, right? But the thing is, as powerful as that is, it's difficult to do. And I'm realizing the two main components that have gotten in my way. And if these are things that are holding you back, then I hope this sheds a little bit of realization and helps you push past it, or reevaluate what you are deciding to do. And I realized for me, I have to have the desire to do it. I have to really want the thing, want the outcome, want the process. Like, I really have to have a desire for it, right? And with writing, I love to write, but I had to come into terms with the desire to see one of my books finished, And on top of that, though, at the end of the day, we're going to do what we want to do, right? Unless something else gets in the way. So first it's the desire, but then afterwards you have to have the faith, and like real faith. And real faith is shown by action. Like, you really believe in something when your actions are aligned to that belief. If you really believe you can fly, your actions are going to look much different than someone who really believes if they jump off a building they're going to die. Okay. But if you don't believe that you can do something, if you don't believe that it's going to end well in a good result, then you're not going to want to do it. It kind of takes away the desire, because as much as we may want to do a certain thing, very few of us want to fail. Very few of us want to waste time pouring time into something that doesn't work. So yes, we do what we want to do, but that faith is a very huge factor of us actually following through with what we want to do. Because if we don't believe it's going to happen, why are we going to pour in the effort doing it, right? So belief and desire is key, and I want you to take the time to evaluate how much you believe and how much you desire the thing that you are trying to commit to. Is this really it for you? But I don't really want to stay too much in that. One of the greatest revelations I have gotten this week from the Lord has been the importance of failure, right? And it's fascinating because if you ask me, I always knew the importance of failure. Like, I'm that one who's like, no, it's good to fail. I'm the one who encourages other people to fail. I tell my students, you failed? Good job. Yeah, because that means you're doing something. And yet, I started seeing how much I'm really enslaved by the fear of failure. And you notice you're enslaved by the fear of failure when you need to know and figure out how the result is going to end up before you do a thing. If you find yourself being more inactive than active, Or if you see yourself playing it safe consistently and just sticking to the thing that you know you are good at, or the approach that you know you are good at, and justifying it. Like, oh, well, that's not needed, or, oh, that's not going to be appreciated anyway, or, oh, you know. And so I was realizing that in myself, and I realized that my progressive fear of failure led to either inaction or weak action. Someone said a quote, Mr. Flowers, Jerry Flowers, said a quote that really hit home, and that was that sometimes failing is succeeding in the thing that doesn't matter. And I realized I was playing it safe and sticking to the thing that I was more comfortable with versus stretching and going toward the thing that actually matters. And what that looks like in our journey is a lot of times we fall off of stuff, or we detach from stuff, not because we weren't doing good, not because it wasn't going to work, but because we feared failure, or we didn't know how to approach the process of failure, of failing. And so because of that, instead we detach ourselves, or we don't put our all in. That way, if we fail, we don't feel like we lost too much. But that's already failing when you don't put your all in. And so now that I'm done talking about it on a more personal scale, I want to have us reflect right now and see, are we held captive by failure? Do you spend more time justifying why you didn't do a thing instead of trying to do the thing? Do you spend more time playing it safe and not going all out, not broadcasting it to all the people, not telling your friends and family you started it, not putting all of your effort in there? You don't want to spend too much time on it because you don't know how it'll end. Would you rather sit back and talk about what everyone else is doing wrong than take action yourself? By the way, no shame, guys. This is all stuff that I've done. I am saying this so that we can reflect together and move past it. Are you extremely stressed and worried and spend too much time over preparing for something because you want it to be perfect? And here's what I want us to realize. I want us to really understand the beauty and the necessity of failing. Because when we don't fail, we stay in the same spot. And not even that, I was realizing I couldn't even gauge how competent I was because I was too afraid to actually try something else, to actually do something else. So I don't even know how capable I am because I don't know. I didn't try it. So I feel more incompetent. I'm not even maintaining my dignity by being afraid to fail because I'm just not doing anything. And failing is needed for us to gauge where we're at. And it is literally a straight shot to wisdom and lessons that some of us spend years in college still never getting. Failing is so important, and it is just the process that is necessary for us to grow. We have to try something. We have to see how it goes so that then we could take that and learn from it and then adjust accordingly. We're not going to be able to figure it out every time. We're not going to get it perfect every time. We're not going to have the answer every time, and that is okay. That is actually okay. And it is actually needed. That is how we grow. That is the due process. That is a beautiful part and a necessary part of becoming any better version of ourselves. Otherwise, we remain stagnant. And I know none of us want to remain stagnant. I want you to embrace failing. I want you to do the thing, understanding that God has got you. God orders your steps. God will pick you up whenever you fall. And when I look at other people's lives and other people's testimonies and how much they've been through, but then where they're at now, I realize there's no depth that I can fall to that God cannot pick me up from. And the same is true for you. How much more when we are actually following God and walking with Him? How much more can we trust that He got us? He will guide us. He will hold our hand. He will show us the right from the left, right? He will bring all things together for our good as we are loving Him and called according to His purpose. So, guys, fail. That is the only way you're going to actually be able to figure it out. That's the only way you're actually going to be able to grow. That's the only way you're going to be able to serve those you were called to serve. That's the only way you're going to be able to walk into the lifestyle that you want to walk into, is if you fail. Stop overthinking it. Stop stressing yourself out, trying to be perfect because you're not. And remember that ultimately it is God who brings the results anyway. It is God who moves the hearts of people. It is God who makes all things beautiful. It is God who has equipped us and given us what we needed to do the thing. It is God who will order our steps. So, I love you guys. That is my encouragement to you. Have so much fun. Also, this week of my book was about my daydreamers and really going in on how fantasizing, how us getting in our head, escaping from the world, creating our own scenarios and things like that can actually get in the way of our relationships, and especially of us having discernment as to who should be in my life and who should not. A lot of times when we find ourselves falling quickly for somebody, it's because of what we made up in our head about that person. Oh, why do I look like this? I'm not cute. Oh my goodness. As I'm trying to fix myself, my little announcement, but I am so excited about this book. And just going over all the things that I have personally noticed and studied when it comes to us falling for people quickly, for relationships that we get in and then we get out of, like, what was I thinking? Or just all the times that we seem hyper focused on finding love. So, excited for that. Excited to hear about you guys' journeys and y'all's updates. And you guys have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye.